I never thought I'd be in this position. My wife went on a work retreat, and when she came back, things felt off. She promised our daughter she'd be there for her birthday, then broke it. A mark on her neck only deepened my doubts. Now I don't know what to believe anymore. I'm a 27-year-old man currently in a serious fight with my 28-year-old wife. We've argued before, but nothing this intense. I honestly don't know what to do next. We've been together since college and married for nearly 6 years. We have a 4-year-old daughter. Our relationship has never been perfect. We've dealt with our fair share of struggles, including cultural differences and family pressure, but we've always found a way to work through it. She's my first love and my best friend. My wife works a demanding corporate job that includes an annual week-long retreat. This year's retreat was in Las Vegas. In past years, I've adjusted my work schedule to go with her, turning the trip into a mini vacation for us and our daughter. This time, that wasn't possible. Our daughter has a hard time traveling, severe anxiety, and we're still working through it. We decided it wasn't worth pushing it, so I stayed behind to care for her. It was disappointing, especially since we had hoped this trip would help us reconnect as a couple and family. Her work has been draining lately, and we've been struggling with the lack of balance in our home life. We did consider her skipping the retreat, but even though it's technically optional, not going is frowned upon. She's trying to build her network, so we ultimately agreed she'd go. But things felt off almost immediately. We have a routine when one of us is away. We keep in touch regularly. The first day she acted like herself, but then she started becoming distant. I'd send her important texts that she'd read but not respond to, then later claim she hadn't seen them. When we did talk, she was quick to end the call, even when it was just casual time with our daughter, and these weren't times she was supposed to be at any retreat events. What hurt the most was when she skipped a FaceTime mini birthday party we had planned for our daughter. It was something she had promised since the retreat overlapped with the actual birthday. Our daughter was so excited. But my wife canceled last minute because she had colleagues coming to her room after a seminar. It felt like she wanted me to tell her it was okay to break the promise. I told her I wasn't going to do that. It wasn't about me giving permission or forcing her to follow through. She told me I was being unfair, that the gathering was a professional networking opportunity, and stepping away for family time would seem out of place to her colleagues. I told her that the choice was hers to make, but she'd need to explain it to our daughter, since she had made a promise. She said she'd make it up to her the next day. Our daughter didn't understand why her mom didn't show up and ended up crying. My wife just hung up, and I was left to calm her down on my own. That moment really bothered me. It felt like she broke a promise and then didn't follow through on the reschedule either. Meanwhile, she was actively sharing posts from the retreat on social media. One coworker in particular, a 23-year-old guy, was constantly in her photos and videos. He was practically glued to her side. In one photo, he even had his arm around her in a way that felt way too casual. He's new to her department, and she's been mentoring him. I've never liked the guy. He doesn't seem to understand personal boundaries. Once, in response to a work task, he even texted my wife saying she was the kind of woman he needed to keep him in check. My wife brushed it off, saying she felt sorry for him because he wasn't fitting in and that she wanted to help him during his first retreat. Whenever I brought up my concerns, she had an excuse: either she was too tired or busy networking. But something just didn't feel right. I've seen her during these retreats before, and this time she seemed different, off. The day before she flew back home, she mentioned over the phone that she had a bruise on her neck, but insisted it was just a bug bite. I didn't see it until she got back, and it looked more like a hickey than a bug bite. She had made a big deal of it on the phone, but in person, she just shrugged it off. I didn't bring it up right away because our daughter was there. Later, when I confronted her, she stuck to the bug bite story. When I pushed further, she asked what I was accusing her of. I finally told her directly. I believed it was a hickey and I didn't think she was being honest. That started a huge fight. She was extremely upset and deeply hurt by what I said. Infidelity has always been a sensitive topic for her, given the history of cheating in her family. Our argument got pretty intense. She accused me of picking a fight because I was still upset about what happened with our daughter's birthday. I told her it wasn't about that, it was about the mark on her neck that looked like a hickey. We ended the fight without any real resolution. Things still haven't gotten back to normal. She insists it was just a bug bite, but I'm having a hard time believing that. I've always trusted her, never once doubted her before. But the bruise really doesn't look like an insect bite. It looks like a hickey. And that feeling only gets stronger when I think back on how emotionally distant and off she seemed during her work retreat in Vegas. Since then, she's been wearing turtlenecks constantly. Meanwhile, things at home have been a mix of us arguing and her showering our daughter and me with affection. Usually, we're able to talk things through. Communication has always been our strength. But not this time. My accusation seems to have taken things to a different level. Now I don't know what to do. I feel stuck and overwhelmed. I really need an outside perspective. How do I move forward from here? Update. I, 27M, wanted to share an update and thank everyone who reached out. Hearing different perspectives really helped me see things more clearly. Right now, things feel like an emotional roller coaster. I'm still trying to process everything. For a while, my wife, 28F, and I couldn't have any meaningful conversation about the mark on her neck. We were either fighting or she was overcompensating with affection toward me and our 4-year-old daughter. She wore turtlenecks constantly, so I didn't see the bruise often. But I could tell it was healing, changing from reddish-purple to yellow. She shut down any further talk about her work retreat in Vegas. She insisted she was done explaining herself and said she shouldn't have to justify her actions to her own husband. I told her she could do whatever she wanted, but I wasn't going to let myself be treated like a fool. I also told her I couldn't share a bed with someone I didn't trust. So, I moved into the guest room. Communication between us basically stopped. The silence in the house was heavy. Even our daughter started picking up on the tension, which I'm not proud of. I've always tried to shield her from our conflicts. One night, my wife came into the guest room and asked if we could talk. She looked like she'd been crying. She said she hated how things were between us and felt like she was losing me no matter what. I told her the only way forward was with complete honesty. That's when she admitted she hooked up with her coworker, 23M, on the day of our daughter's birthday. The mark on her neck was from him. It was a hickey. She said it happened in a moment of weakness. They were making out, fooling around over their clothes, and he performed oral sex on her. She said it ended abruptly when he called her a nickname that I use, something that snapped her back to reality. She excused herself to wash her face, saw the hickey, and confronted him when he joked about it being a souvenir. She got angry and kicked him out of her room. She told me part of the reason she'd been distant was because of the guilt. And now, she says she's telling me everything because she's tired of hiding it. I asked her why she cheated. What was it about that guy she deemed worth risking everything? She claimed it wasn't him specifically, nor is she unhappy with our marriage. She doesn't really know how to explain it, but a part of her feels broken. The more she looks in the mirror, the more she sees her father, 57M, a man who buried himself in work, became emotionally distant from his child, and cheated on her mother, 55F. She opened up about how her family never communicated openly. Growing up, her mother never addressed issues with her, leaving everything bottled up. I reminded her that her parents didn't make her cheat. She made the choice to hook up with someone who repeatedly disrespected our relationship. Every step she took was hers alone. She could have chosen us, her family, at any point. She acknowledged that. While she wants to blame her upbringing, she admitted this was her responsibility. She apologized for cheating and for encouraging his advances. She told me she's willing to do whatever it takes to fix this, report the situation to HR, quit her job, go to therapy, anything to make things right again. I told her I wasn't sure what right even looked like anymore, or if that's something we could ever get back to. I always knew we had issues, but I thought we could talk through anything. She insisted that we still could. That we didn't have to give up on what we built. She made a passionate plea for us to stay together, to fight for our relationship, but I felt numb. I told her I didn't recognize who she'd become. Not just because she broke our vows, but also because of how she treated our daughter. She felt like a stranger to me. She said she knows she's failed both as a wife and as a mother, but that she loves us more than anything and wants to rebuild our life as a family. I told her I couldn't give her the answer she was looking for, and that I felt we needed to separate and reassess where we stood. She didn't want that. She said we should remain in the same home, but I was clear, the separation would happen. Either she would leave, or I would, with our daughter. Eventually, she agreed to leave so as not to disrupt our daughter's life more than it already had been. She only asked that I not take our daughter away from her completely. My wife is currently staying with my in-laws, which I know isn't easy for her given the strained relationship she has with her parents. One of the hardest parts in all this has been the change for our daughter. Right now, she just thinks her mom is caught up with work like usual, and thankfully, she hasn't asked too many questions. My mother-in-law called recently. She didn't try to defend what my wife did, but she is encouraging us to try and work through it. She shared how my wife used to describe me as the anchor she always needed, and she believes there's still something worth saving, if I'm willing. Even though we faced some resistance from family in the past, my MIL has always been in our corner. All of this has left me feeling more confused than ever. I never expected this kind of betrayal from my wife. She was my safe space. Now I feel both numb and shattered. I still love her, that part hasn't changed. But how I see her, myself, our relationship, and our family, it's all different now. Everything feels more fragile, especially because the wounds are still fresh. I do think this time apart is necessary. I'm not certain about divorce, I haven't let myself fully go there, but I'm not ruling it out either. Right now, I'm just focusing on our daughter and taking things day by day. That's all I really can do at the moment. Thank you again to everyone who's offered support. It means more than you know. Update. Thank you again to everyone who reached out. I, 27M, wasn't able to respond to every message, but I truly appreciate the support. I wanted to share an update. Things have been a bit chaotic as we adjust to this new normal after my wife's, 28F, affair. I'm doing my best to take everything one day at a time. My wife and I had a gentle conversation with our daughter, 4F, explaining the separation in simple, age-appropriate terms. We made sure she knows that both of us love her deeply, without getting into the reasons behind it. She's always been a sharp, observant little girl, but I don't think she fully understands the change yet. Right now, it just seems like another one of those times when her mom is busy with work. During visits, though, she's become more withdrawn around her mom and noticeably more attached to me. There was a moment when my wife tried to play with her, but our daughter pushed back, shouting that she didn't want to play. That disconnect between them hits me harder than I expected. I always knew my wife's demanding work schedule had taken a toll, and before Vegas, we'd agreed to work on rebuilding. But the depth of that fracture is now painfully clear. Their bond feels strained, our daughter treats her mom more like a stranger, staying quiet and reserved around her. At her age, she should be closest to us, especially her mom, and it's hard to witness that gap. That dynamic between my wife and our daughter has been weighing heavily on me. Right now, my main concern is ensuring our daughter feels emotionally safe and secure through all of this. When it comes to my wife and me, she's been pushing hard for reconciliation. She says it's not just about staying together for our daughter, she still loves me and wants to fight for our marriage. But I'm not in that same place. Her sudden urgency to fight for us now only highlights how absent that effort was before she crossed the line. She's been firm on her version of events, insisting the affair started when she began sympathizing with her coworker, 23M, who was struggling to connect with others. His constant flirting and the way he made her feel valued became something she leaned on during stressful days. Although she didn't label it that way at the time, it was clearly an emotional affair. It escalated and became physical during their work retreat. She admitted that while in Vegas, she emotionally disconnected from her life at home. She maintains they only had sex once. The hickey came from foreplay, and the moment that snapped her out of it was when he called her by my nickname for her while giving her oral. That shook her. She says she lashed out at him for his childish behavior, especially about the hickey, and made him leave her suite. She thought she could quietly cut things off and return home to fix our marriage like nothing happened. I asked her if she was wearing her wedding ring when they had sex. She admitted she was. That answer cut deep. For me, our rings have always represented something sacred, our love, our promises, and our unity. Now, that symbol feels tarnished beyond repair. I haven't been able to wear mine since. The pain doesn't ease with time, it just takes on new shapes. She's owned up to her role in crossing boundaries. She's changed her phone number and says she's ended all communication with him. She reported the affair to HR herself. As a result, both she and the coworker have been suspended while the company investigates the impact of their relationship on the workplace. The relationship between my wife and her coworker violated company policy, and it doesn't reflect well on her, especially considering she was his mentor. There are also concerns being raised about possible favoritism on her part. Some people have suggested I reach out to the coworker, but I'm not in a place where that would be productive. I'm still carrying a lot of anger toward him. The hickey, the nickname, that wasn't accidental. He knew exactly what he was doing, and I doubt I'd get anything from him but more frustration. He's not worth the energy. My focus needs to be on our daughter. I've decided to start marriage counseling, not necessarily with reconciliation in mind, but to help navigate the separation in the healthiest way possible for our daughter's sake. There are still a lot of moments where I feel completely numb. I never imagined this would be how my marriage or my family would end up. I've seen others go through situations like this. I've heard the stories and thought I understood the pain, but experiencing it firsthand is something else entirely. It's changed me. I don't feel like the same person anymore. I don't know where this road leads. Every step forward feels like a struggle, but I'm trying. That's all I can do for now. To everyone who's taken the time to reach out, thank you. Your support truly means a lot. Update. Things haven't been easy, and I never expected them to be. Still, I don't regret choosing to separate, it was the right decision. Given the betrayal and the constant lies, I felt like I didn't really have a choice. I'm still trying to regain my balance. I never viewed anyone through rose-colored glasses, and I didn't think our relationship was flawless. But I truly didn't believe things would fall apart like this after all the years we've shared. While HR was still investigating the situation between my wife and her coworker, she chose to resign. Apparently, she faced some resistance. Several higher-ups were advocating for her to stay. I wasn't shocked. She's always been the dependable, yes, employee, known for getting things done. She's been with the company since her college internship days. She told me this was part of her effort to show she's cutting all ties with him. I don't know the outcome of the investigation for her coworker, and honestly, I don't care. That's not something I'm worried about. We've officially started marriage counseling, and it's been a brand new experience for me. I wasn't sure what to expect. So far, we've been discussing the history of our relationship, the affair, and what each of us hopes to gain from therapy. Her account of how the affair started hasn't changed. She says it wasn't that she was unhappy with me, more that something inside her felt broken. The constant, undivided attention from him became addictive. The conversation recently turned toward her upbringing, specifically her parents, 57M and 55F, and the impact her father's infidelity had on her. She sees herself as a reflection of her father, both as a parent and a spouse. As a mother, she tried to prove she was different by spoiling our daughter with gifts to make up for her emotional absence. As a partner, she convinced herself she was better because her affair hadn't turned physical, at least not before the Vegas trip. She actually told her affair partner while in Vegas that it was okay to hang out as long as it didn't cross into anything physical. That was her line, her way of believing she was still in the clear compared to her father. It feels like she had so many opportunities to make a different choice, to choose us and our family. Instead, she threw our daughter and me aside without a second thought. Our relationship wasn't enough to make her stop, neither were our wedding rings or our daughter's tears. Every time, she chose herself. She was selfish. The whole thing with the nickname and how it made her snap back to reality? That doesn't help me, it doesn't make me feel any better. I truly believe she only stopped at oral because she had what she needed and had no intention of going further. I wasn't on her mind. For her to say that I was feels like a poor attempt at patching up a deep wound. I didn't mean to say everything I did, but once I started, there was no stopping. It was my turn to speak, and I had to say it. She acknowledged what she did and admitted that there's no excuse for it. It's not about her parents, it's just her. She swore that she loves me and our daughter and wants to fight for our family. I told her that hearing "I love you" now feels empty. She turned her back on our daughter and me to share something so intimate with her coworker. She said she sees that the issues go far beyond the affair. She struggles to connect with our daughter and is afraid of messing her up, which is why she left the primary caregiving to me. She believes I'm better at it. She admitted there's nothing she can say to undo the damage, but she wants to prove her commitment to change through her actions now. That's some stuff we've dug through in counseling. We're still in the early stages. But I believe it's aiding in communication through separation, which is more healthy for our daughter. Our therapist recommended individual counseling as a complement. It's something I'm seriously researching for myself. Not much has changed with our daughter since the previous update. She still doesn't feel there's a difference between her mom being home or not. I've watched her go from talkative and playful to instantly completely silent when her mom came by. I've scheduled her for play therapy. I don't know what to expect from that either, but I'm hoping for the best. My main goal is being present for her. I know I need to learn how to trust again in general. That's shot right now. Pre-Vegas, I never had a reason to doubt my wife. My trust was something she had as an irreplaceable partner. I've been betrayed before, but this one did a number in a way the others hadn't. I'm trying to stay afloat and focus on what I have rather than what I lost. I can't afford to get lost in myself. Thank you to everyone for the support and for sharing your own experiences. Talking about all this isn't easy for me, but I appreciate the openness. Update. I don't have much new to add about therapy. I'm continuing with marriage counseling, and both my wife, 28F, and I have started individual counseling. It's been an interesting experience and has given me a much-needed outlet. Individual counseling is a good complement to the marriage counseling. My wife is keeping up with her therapy sessions and even started journaling, which surprised me because she never really believed in it before. In marriage counseling, she mentioned that it's helping her reflect on things. Our daughter, 4F, has started play therapy. We're still in the early stages, and she's hesitant, but she's starting to warm up to it. Once she gets comfortable, though, she's all in, and you can't get the toys out of her hands. It's comforting to see her in a space where she's engaging and acting more like herself. It gives me hope that she'll make it through this. The play therapist has been talking about when to involve my wife in the process. There's no set plan yet, and I want to move at a pace that our daughter feels comfortable with, nothing forced. I'm really proud of her. She's a big reason why I can't regret being with my wife. There are many things I'd tell my younger self, but if I had chosen a different path, I wouldn't have my daughter, and that's something I wouldn't change. I faced another big challenge recently. It was our anniversary. Our anniversary has always meant a lot to me. Even with my wife's poor work-life balance, we always made an effort to make the day special. This year, I felt a lot of conflicting emotions about it, mostly pain. We had plans. Everything was booked and set before the Vegas retreat. Of course, the trip was cancelled. My wife wanted to keep our plans, but I told her that wasn't happening. Without the trip, she said she still wanted us to spend our official anniversary together instead of separately. I turned her down. We discussed it in therapy. I expressed I didn't have the needed trust in her to let myself be vulnerable with her as I once was. I needed to process the anniversary on my own. The anniversary had me having all these strange thoughts. A lot of it highlighted how much I miss my friend and partner. I'm not talking about reconciliation. I'm not entertaining that right now. I'm talking about something much deeper here. To build a life with someone, to have them be your partner and closest friend, and then to have that ripped away from you. I can't be with her in all the ways I imagined. You can call it simping, foolishness, or being a doormat. Call it whatever you like. But for me, it's the reality of falling in love, giving everything for a long time, and then discovering they had another life and losing everything that mattered to you. It hurts, and I didn't allow myself to fully feel it until now. It feels like life just keeps moving on. My wife's affair partner, 23M, moves on. Work moves on. And here I am, stuck. I'm the one left with the loss, and I'm the one who's paying for it. I also want to clear up something that's been asked a lot. People have been curious about what I meant when I mentioned cultural differences and family opposition in my first post. We're an interracial couple. My wife is Korean. We're both minorities, but my father-in-law, 57M, and his family wanted my wife to marry someone Korean. They hold conservative beliefs. So, I wasn't exactly welcomed, and we had to deal with opposition because of that. It was tough. Even at our wedding, my father-in-law was more of a silent observer. Due to the strained relationship between my wife and her father, she was adamant that she didn't care about his approval. She turned down his offer to walk her down the aisle, which, of course, didn't help the relationship. My wife made her own decisions, but I became the target of anger. My father-in-law took it as if I had influenced her against him, and his side of the family accused my wife of not being a good daughter. Things didn't really improve with my father-in-law until our daughter was born. He softened after becoming a grandfather and became more open to me. Despite everything, he's now a doting grandparent. My mother-in-law, 55F, is a different story. She's always been supportive and welcoming of our relationship. Her support has meant a lot to me. She's been like a mother to me. I'm realizing more and more the far-reaching effects of the affair. How much it takes from you and consumes you. All the different layers of loss. Not only did I lose the life I built, but also family and friends. It feels like I just keep losing. That's about all I have to update on. I truly appreciate all the support. Even if I couldn't respond, just know how much it means to me. It really makes a difference.